Streaming live from the beautiful city of Hollywood, Florida, USA. This is SoFloRadio.com. ZNation. ZNation. Where consciousness is queen, love really is the answer. And making a difference is on the menu. ZNation. Organic beats and inspiring treats. Get your weekly dose of vitamin Z now. This is ZNation on SoFloRadio.com.
The mics are hot. Welcome, everyone. Happy day. Happy day on Earth. My name is Zayna De Gaia, and this is ZNation. We are recording live from Hollywood, Florida. And this is SoFloRadio.com. We have a really, really cool show today. So here at ZNation, we love to interview people. So we bring people onto the show and we find out what they're up to and what they're doing. And one of my friends, students, teachers, Jonathan Rosenthal, had this idea about 3 weeks ago, Jonathan.
You kind of had the idea for me.
He was kind of he thought he was joking when he said, "Why don't I come on the show and interview you?" And I said, "Cool, let's do it."
We're doing it.
We're doing it. So I'm going to hand over the show to you in just a second, Jonathan. I just want to talk a little bit about my weekend, and then you could take this in any direction you want to take it. So yeah, I also wanted to talk a little bit about that. You know, Jonathan, you refer to me as your teacher all the time, and I you know, there's a thin line between teacher and student and teacher, and where we learn from each other. One thing that I discovered young is I wanted to die saying I don't know anything. I wanted to always be discovering newly and not be one of those old farts that knows everything. So I welcome you here, and I want you to know, as much as I've been your teacher, you've been my teacher. And Jonathan comes often to my yoga classes, so he learns from my yoga teachings. But as a teacher, you know, I've learned anything I want to master, I shall teach. If you want to master something, you teach it. And that's how you go deeper into whatever it is you want to master. This weekend, I was assisting in a course at landmarkworldwide.com called the Advanced Course. It's part of their curriculum for living. And it's just amazing the miracles that happen inside of those four walls when you have the privilege of being in there. And one of the things that they discuss, one of the very first distinctions that they introduce, is in the world of performance. How to increase our performance, whatever it is, if it's, you know, performance in the world of like doing everything that you love in your life, or performance in the world of having your family and your home work and have everybody be in harmony. And what that is a function of is our actions. So if we want to create things in the world, then it requires actions. But then we ask, you know, what gives us our actions? Where do the actions come from? What gives you the actions you're going to take?
Good question.
Yeah. Well, what we discovered is what gives us the actions that we take is how the world occurs to us, or they call it the occurring world. So, for example, if your girlfriend breaks up with you, you know, it can occur to you like the end of the world, or it can occur to you as an opportunity or an opening for something, right? Those are two completely different occurrings, and those two occurrings will give us completely different actions. So the other question is, well, okay, great. The occurring world, how I perceive the world, how the world occurs to me, gives me my actions. And my actions give me like the results that I have in my life. So if the occurring world is one that doesn't empower me or doesn't produce the actions or the results that I want, then how do I shift my occurring world? Deep stuff this morning, right? Yeah. Y'all are looking at me like some some headlights on the head. So how do you change your occurring world? Well, this is like the most basic thing, like that all spiritual paths teach us is, and then there was what? The word. So how we change, how we transform, how we recreate how the world occurs to us is through language. Language is the tool that was given to us in this 3D world, all right, to create. So how we speak of our lives and what we say creates. And it's not only like saying things like creating yourself, like instead of saying I don't have any money or I'm broke. I don't even like saying those words out loud. You can say I'm in between fortunes, or I'm creating something, or this is what I'm up to. Often what people get stuck in is they speak about their circumstances, and that's what they speak about. So we create more of the circumstances. And then when I speak of the future, what I'm up to, what I'm creating, I create that. Right? So I've been walking around saying I'm moving to Miami and I'm doing the Shakti dance teacher training. 2 things that I have no idea how I am going to do or accomplish. However, those are the things that I want to do. So I speak them into reality. Speak them into reality. All right, so wanted to touch on that. This is something that I've been, really observing for myself. How I speak about myself and how I speak about life is it's a sign, it's an indicator for me for how life is occurring for me. And if that occurring is not empowering, then I have the power to change it by how I speak. And then one thing too is if we really, really want to take it to another level is create this agreement with the people around you, your friends, your family, that when we catch each other speaking in a way that's disempowering, we have permission to just, let each other know. Like if you call a friend, you're like, how you're doing? And they're like, man, I'm so sick. Saying I'm SICK creates more of that. I mean, you can share the symptoms of what's going on so that we can support you in with herbs or medicine or whatever is needed. But when it turns into a complaint, it becomes like a prayer for something that we don't want.
I agree.
It's a little bit of, yeah. So that was my weekend. I was highly in that. There's so much more I would love to share. And I think what I'm going to start doing is blogging more about it because I have so many rich experiences to share from these things that I attend. And then I also went to the Shakti dance. There was a class that happened at the Goddess store right here on Harrison Street in Hollywood. Carmen is the owner there. She is just awesome. And so this Shakti dance, this woman is doing these courses, these workshops around South Florida because she's hosting a Shakti dance teacher training for the next 9 months. So I went there because I wanted to support my friend Carol, who's been organizing this. And I left there in awe and clear that I wanted to do this. I wanted to do this training and I want to teach it and I want to just immerse myself in it. And what it is she's not going to like me for saying this, but I'm just going to say it as a joke because it was a joke that I said after. But when I was done, I said, wow, this is better than Zumba. It's like Zumba with spirituality. And I do Zumba, so I related to that. I love to dance. I love to be given a choreography and then just be able to go with it, something to start with and then let me run with it. And this Shakti dance thing was amazing. We started with the opening because it's blessed and approved by Yogi Bhajan, which is the person that brought Kundalini Yoga to the U.S. He approved this woman, I forget her name, to develop this, and he actually developed it with her. The whole flow of it is scientific and very thought out. So we start with an opening, in Kundalini Yoga, you start with Om Namo Gurudev Namo. In Shakti dance, you start with the feminine version of that, which is Om Namo Gurudeva. And it's beautiful, and they do these hand movements, which they call celestial communication. And then you do this stretching, and the stretching is so sensual. And I mean, you feel so good. And I teach yoga, and I practice practice tons of yoga, but these stretches, Jonathan, I wait till you experience them. They're amazing. And then we get into a circle and we start the dancing. And the dancing is amazing. And everybody feels safe and great and sexy and awesome. And it's for guys too. It's men and women. And then
Guys with pink shirts and pink glasses?
Yeah, but you could come dressed however you like.
Okay.
And then you go into the zone, which is like a freestyle. So every class there's a freestyle session where everybody just dances like nobody's watching, and you go into your zone, and then it ends with a shavasana, like a regular class. Women have healed like physical symptoms from this stuff, but it's because they're healing very deep emotional stuff. I felt it when I was in it. I felt how what I noticed, I don't give enough time for myself to immerse myself in that feminine flow, the sacred feminine, the sensuality, and often we do that with our partners, but to do it with myself or even with my girls, to have been there with maybe 10 women, just dancing and having a great time and breathing and chanting mantras. So I'm really excited about that. You guys will hear more. I'm starting teacher training August 4th at the Goddess Store. Carmen, the owner there, is also doing the teacher training. I mean, there's going to be an amazing bunch of us that are being trained for this, and we're going to be rocking it. So
awesome.
Yeah. So that was my weekend, and I've been like really, really looking forward to this show. So Jonathan, welcome. Thank you for being on. And I'm gonna let you just like roll from here and take this boat however you want to take it.
You said it's my show. I could.
Yes.
So let's talk about Iran. No.
Oh my God. No. Let's not go there.
No, I was going to say just what you were talking about. If stretches are challenging for you, it's got to be really something new, exciting.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, let me do my introduction. I'm going to read first until I'm just more comfortable.
Okay.
I want to say that, first of all, I have a lot of admiration and respect for you as my main vinyasa instructor, teacher. And I learn so much from you all the time, so I'm honored that I get to be here to interview you.
Thank you.
And thank you for that. Zayna De Gaia, light worker, life coach, activist, yogini goddess, author, businesswoman, pet owner of Bella. Got to talk about that. Strong voice for health, healing, happiness, peace, and transformation. Truly making a difference in the world and inspiring so many people on a daily basis. I'm not talking in the mic.
No, you are. It's just I do it too. It's like side to side.
I got to get used to this whole setup.
You're doing great.
Okay. Well, anyway, so you're an amazing person. You took your glasses off. I'm taking mine off.
Okay.
So a lot of things you say in the classes, obviously, I relate to you a lot because you're very loquacious. You're very verbal, always expressing yourself. And you stimulate my thoughts. I want to respond, but I don't want to be rude to all the other students. I'm like, shut up, Jonathan. We just came here for yoga, and I want to respond to you and ask questions about the poses. So I'm very inquisitive, and that's how we learn from each other, one another.
Awesome.
So that's really what motivated our conversation, which prompted you to invite me here.
Yes. Wait, did this happen when we were in the recording studio?
Yeah.
Is that when we decided this?
Right outside.
It was. Yeah.
On a break.
Jonathan has a really cool studio. It's a little cave, and Jonathan, I just want to acknowledge it's really well done, and you have amazing equipment in there. And we went in one day and we recorded. Thank you.
About 7 things, I think.
Yeah, we recorded 3 ads and we recorded some meditation CDs. It was really creative. So that's where this came about. We got really creative.
You came out of one cave and went into my man cave.
Yes.
I call it the man cave. So, yeah, that was fun. And I said that you're like a one-take person, which is like, I always, I value people, artists, because I've produced on a small level, people that it takes me, like George was saying, like 20 takes to even start to be happy with something. I'm, try to be a perfectionist, which you won't hear today if you play my song, but you're a one-take person, which is really cool, because you talk about the idea of noble speech and noble silence. And I feel like so much of what comes out of your mouth, like 99% of the time, is, even though it could be with humor, you're a very profound person. So let's get into getting to know who is Zayna De Gaia.
But can I suggest something? Just because your song is so cool, and it kind of like it just puts us into the.
You want to get it out of the way?
We gotta listen to it. It's so good.
Let me put my Elton John look on. Cue it up, DJ.
I'm cueing you.
So Jonathan wrote this song.
I didn't really write the music. It's a parody. I'm a beginner. Gotta turn it up. You say that everyone is to you, and you're a winner. Now shine a light on what you do. Now rock that mantra.
Rock that mantra.
Who you could be a guru. I already know. I know that you're speaking the truth.
The
So
truth.
here's the situation. I've been to the Z-Nation. Nobody makes me sweat like you do. You know I'm not so patient. I can't do meditation. Forgive me, I'm a nosy Jew. So I'm interviewing you. Whoa. Okay. Oh my God.
Interviewing you.
I'm interviewing you.
Whoa.
This is the cleanest version of that song.
Yeah, I've heard the original.
Wait, let me
before.
see the lyrics.
I did it real quickly just to have something.
I'm a beginner. You say everyone is to you. You're a winner. Let's shine a light on what you do. Now rock that mantra. Oh, you could be a guru. I like this one. Here's the situation. I've been to Z-Nation. Nobody makes me sweat like you do.
So I'm interviewing you.
So I'm interviewing you.
Okie doke.
Oh.
You do those for other people, so I just threw one
That was
together.
awesome.
You're amazing.
Thank you.
It's like you came prepared. Like you knew our style. We could tell you've been
I've
watching.
been watching. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've been
you know. You're on our flow. I love it.
I'm hip to the Z-Nation.
Yeah.
Hollywood's my home, you know. Like I live here, work here. I don't want to talk about where I'll die, but maybe here. You never know. Okay, so let's. I'm going to interview you now.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready.
So who is Zayna De Gaia? She's extroverted, expressive, fearless. These are some words that come to mind about you. Open, forthcoming. And I want to know this personality of yours, the way you conduct yourself, how does that serve you and how does that serve others? Like, what's your self-assessment of your style of communication?
That's a good question. So I've learned that that we each have a part of our identity that's created from our youth. And that part of our identity is very useful if we're aware of it and we use it instead of allowing it to use us. So one part of my identity that's stamped in me is I'm really nice and likable. And it's something I created when I was about 5. And these 2 girls came to speak to me and I wanted to have friends. And I couldn't understand what they were saying because they were speaking French and I hadn't learned French yet. My first language is Arabic. So at the time, all I spoke was Arabic.
You were born in Lebanon?
No, I was born in Lebanon of Canada, which is Saint Laurent, Montreal, Quebec,
Gotcha.
Canada. So when they didn't want to speak to me and they laughed at me because I couldn't speak to them, I made up that I had to be really nice. And as a 5-year-old, that was a decision that I took on for the rest of my life. Like I had to be nice and I had to please people. So I have this automatic nice button that goes on. Now, there was a time in my life where I would be nice in order for you to like me or in order to accomplish something. But when we discover these things about ourselves, like when we shed light, it shifts things. So now that I'm aware of this, I'm nice to be nice. Does that make sense?
Not to be a people pleaser.
Yeah, I'm just nice to be nice. And sometimes I can I can identify when I'm being nice so you can like me like as a manipulation thing or just nice to be nice. And yeah. So my assessment of who I am is for some reason I'm determined to love. And that drives everything I do.
Can I interrupt?
Yeah, interrupt at any time.
Okay, I'm going to do it a lot then.
Okay.
Would you say that, what was I going to say? You're, like you take risks. You're very courageous. Like you share you share so many personal things that most people wouldn't have the
Yeah.
courage to do, and you've made it a lifestyle, and people love you, and you're always smiling. You can get away with anything, really. You could be with the yoga gangsters. You could come, you're you.
Thank
so, do you consider yourself like to be unique in that way? And
well, not unique in that way. I know a lot of people who do that also, right? And it's not something I've always done, be vulnerable and share myself in that way. I used to be the girl that everybody knew of, but nobody knew. And when I got the impact of that, when I got who I am, and the impact of not allowing people to know me, and that's when I wrote my book, my book, Thank You for HPV. That was my biggest test in courage and vulnerability. I'm the poster child for HPV, which is a sexually transmitted virus. And stuff like that, where I get emails from people whose lives are saved from reading my book, has me say, F this, and F how uncomfortable it is for me. It's really shifting something in the world.
it's amazing.
We don't even know, Jonathan. We don't know the smile you give, the ripple effect that it's going to do, what that person is going to do, what that person is going to do. So we're doing so much more than we think we are. It's part of the reason, what's his name, Robin Williams, transitioned consciously, is he wasn't aware. He wasn't aware of the impact he did. And if he knew the amount of people and lives that he moved, it would have made a difference for him. You know what makes a difference for people to get that, though? It's just community. When we're in community.
Support system.
Yes.
And you you really provide that. You and Moses, I can't thank you all enough for the environment you've created at that I Love Yoga studio and whatever other studio you're affiliated with to come. That is an amazing environment. It made me feel comfortable enough to come on here and take this risk and just talk in front of the 3 million viewers. What is it, up to 4 million now? How many?
It's ticking. It just keeps going up by the millions.
Yeah, it just keeps going up. I'm like looking at the numbers. I'm like, yeah.
It's cool. It's a great show. But, that's part of like this lifestyle of not worrying about how I look, the appearances, about what people will think of me. It's about service. And the fact that you can do that and affect so many people, that's what makes you a very powerful woman.
Thank you.
I think it's really awesome. So keep it up.
Thank you.
I'm going to try to join in some things here and there.
Okay.
You're pushing me into some of the things.
Cool. You could sing if you want. You could do whatever you like. He's loosening up.
Okay, so I got a lot on my agenda. I doubt we'll get through it, but that's okay.
Let's see how we do.
Okay.
This is so much fun. I like this.
This is just part A of a 16-part questionnaire.
I love it. Let's do this again.
So number 2.
Okay.
Another thing that is very noticeable, anyone that knows Zayna, she's always in action. And another question very similar to the first one. How do you operate always constantly generating that buzz? And you make it look so easy. We'll get into your projects one by one, hopefully later, a little bit. But just the fact that every time I talk to you, you've got something else going on, like new projects. How do you do all that? How do you balance that with also being able to, meditate, have time for yourself, for your loved ones, and you're always doing, like incredibly. Like, I think you must produce more than the average person. You're probably doing the work of like 3 people. How do you do that?
Okay.
Share some of your secrets.
Well, okay. One of my secrets is I treat my calendar as sacred. So whatever I schedule in my calendar, I take very seriously as my word. Like we were talking about the language before. So when I give my word to myself, I take it as seriously as if I give my word to you or anybody. So my calendar is sacred, and I do schedule time to do nothing. And people may think, well, how do you get to be spontaneous like that? It actually gives me a lot more freedom because I don't have to think about things. My calendar just tells me what to do.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the other thing is, there's 168 hours in a week. There's only so much that I can do. And I had this shift very recently. I'm a very good manager. I can manage people, and I can empower people to be in their positions and in their roles, in their roles that have them shine the best, But what I got is that's not enough for me to accomplish what there is to accomplish on the planet right now. So to be somebody who empowers others is a leader, But what I'm getting for myself, the next level of my leadership, is really empowering leaders to empower leaders. So training others to raise leaders as well. So that's what would allow me to go from, I thought I could only manage one yoga studio and have a couple of projects on the side. But now I can manage 600 studios with that, because I understand the power of empowering others and really igniting leadership in others and training them in tools maybe that they don't have, that I have. So constantly developing myself. So I'm at the edge of my own development, and not because there was... Often people will grow because they fell and broke something, and now they turn to God or the universe to grow. We can also grow because we choose to grow, because you seek what's next. And you do that by having, structures. I have many different coaches and mentors in the different areas of my life. George is one of my mentors in my radio hosting career. As a course supervisor at Landmark, I have 2 mentors. As a yoga teacher, I have my mentors. So having people that always raise the bar and that make me uncomfortable. I have a lot of those people in my life. So that's one of my secrets. I'm definitely don't do this on my own, and I don't come up with this shit on my own either. I don't.
I know, well, but you're a great representative of all these things, all these spiritual principles. And
I think one of the things too about me is I'm coachable. Think about people who are Olympic athletes that are really good at what they do. They take their coach's coaching, right? So I choose my coaches and I take their coaching.
That's so cool. Yeah, I learned something like that in Kabbalah. It's a Hebrew expression. I'm probably going to get it wrong, but it says, "Aseh lecha rav, tiknei chaver, v'tatzeh me'esek," something like that. It means to find yourself a teacher and buy yourself a friend. This is a literal translation. You buy yourself a friend, which means you do anything to connect with that teacher or teachers or school of thought, and then you'll never have doubt again. You'll go with more certainty through everything you do. So it's kind of universal.
Awesome.
And you're doing that.
Thank you for sharing that.
Thanks for letting me.
I love hearing stuff that the Kabbalah says. There's a lot of really, really great things.
Yeah.
Yeah, my friend Hannah shares a lot with me too. Thank you.
Yeah, she's really cool. It all overlaps, right?
Uh-huh.
I mean,
yeah.
It's one source and it's expressed in different ways.
Yeah.
But I would like to understand more about how that fits in with this yoga community and movement.
Uh-huh.
Because sometimes I'm confused, as I'm sure, like some of the questions I'm going to get into now, it's more for the yoga novice, like myself, people that haven't been doing it, and didn't live in San Francisco, and I haven't been doing this for 20 years. It's new and it's exciting. So
even that is funny, like saying, somebody who's been doing yoga for 20 years is also a novice.
That's what you always say. You're all beginners to me. That's why I put it in the song. Because I used to be like, I'm just a beginner, looking at other people's mats. And
it's so relative, like I feel like I'm a beginner at yoga too. Like, I mean, I feel like I've been on this path for several lifetimes. But at every level of where I am, I'm a beginner. At this level, I'm a beginner. I'm always starting somewhere and then I reach something. But to have it like I have it figured out, that's... I don't want to ever have it figured out. Yeah.
It's cool. Keeping that humility and openness to learn new things.
Yeah.
It's important.
Because when we close down, then what is there to learn? I heard this once, if I'm not growing, then I'm dying. So stagnation is like death.
Yeah, we were talking about calcification, like on a physical level.
Yeah. Yeah. Stagnation, calcification, exactly.
Like I'm still trying to tell people, like my mom, my friends, my coworkers, it's like even if you don't get any exercise or you're a gym person, I mean, there's so many benefits. I want to start to get into like actual yoga talk with you.
Yeah.
But wait, I think I had one more. Oh, yeah, I'll save that one. So the yoga thing is amazing. Like you were talking about your change of attitude, and I don't remember how you phrased it, but being open and being nice to people, like how to connect with people. And even my fiance has told me, like, I've changed, like I'm more open, I'm kind of more patient. These physical poses we do, they're called heart openers. You put us in this one and that one. And I mean, it really technically opens your heart. I mean, it sounds maybe far-fetched, but all that cleansing we do in the vinyasa and those heart-opening poses, I feel like it's really opening my heart.
Yeah, it works.
It makes me more interested to know people, talk to them, be a little more patient, less distracted.
Yeah.
It's just a million benefits.
Yeah.
So I want to get into some of that.
Okay.
Could you talk about, just run down the list, and it's probably common knowledge, but just for all the listeners, what are the physical benefits of yoga?
Yoga.
Different levels of yoga.
Yeah.
Talk about
Well, yoga, it's got different pathways. The pathway that we're familiar with here in the West is part of the Raja pathway, and it's the Ashtanga Yoga, which is the 8-limb path. The 8-limb path has 8 steps, and asana is just one of those 8 steps. The asana part is the physical poses. The physical poses were designed so that we can live healthy in this vessel. I read this, I was teaching kids yoga for a minute. I actually got kind of thrown into it. Like they needed a sub, and that's how I started teaching. So I bought all these books and I started reading it. And there was this one book that described to children why yoga. And it said very simply, yoga was designed so that we can keep these bodies healthy so that the soul can do its work in this life. Very simply. So you can sum that up. Those are the benefits. So all the systems in your body, the nervous system, the respiratory system, the digestive system, your emotional body, everything. And it really brings everything together. And for me, my experience of yoga, I started doing yoga so I can learn how to manage my stress. I didn't want to be a victim of stress, like so many people. So many illnesses are caused by stress. So what I discovered through yoga is it completely transformed how I think and how I live my life. When we say namaste, that's yoga. Namaste means that I bow to you. I recognize that the light within me, God in me, is also in you. So everything that I do impacts you. Everything, if I am hurting my body, it impacts you. And the depth of that, when we really get to live our life from that, that's the yoga. The postures, yes. I mean, that is respecting the vessel that we've been given. If you have a human life, a human body right now in this life, you are a blessed mofo.
So cool.
Got to take care of it.
Yeah, so we touched on the mental and spiritual benefits, too, of yoga so much. And I just have to give a shout out to my sister, Julie.
Hi, Julie!
Julie at Yoga Twist, because even though both of my sisters have been yoga instructors, my sister has invited me a lot of times. And I finally, about a year and a half ago, I came here.
I remember.
And I was still beating myself up pretty good at that time. And since then, when I started to get into yoga, I quit drinking and I got into juicing. And I just decided I have to replace these bad habits with good habits. Mm-hmm. And, the rest is...
You've been a loyal student.
Yeah. Yolanda helped me, Yolanda.
Yes.
Another great teacher.
Yolanda's
and
great.
Kelsey. I mean, the teachers there are just of the highest caliber. Not that I've been to a million studios, but this last year and a half has been it's given me a new life. It's saves my life. That's why I can't express my gratitude. And to Julie for introducing me, even though I don't go to her classes very often, because I really need the vinyasa, But anyway, I just wanted to acknowledge my sister and thank her for that.
Awesome.
Yeah. And, okay, so Indy, my fiance, wants to know, and that's one of my questions too, when were you exposed to yoga? Uh-huh. And, what inspired you to take your first yoga class, and how did that develop to eventually become a career for you? I mean, part of a career for you.
Yeah. I don't have some magical yoga story, I went to the gym. And I used to do yoga in the back. I would watch the girls at the front that were really flexible, and the whole class, I couldn't stop staring at them. I was one of those girls. And then I would walk by a yoga studio. It was at the Yoga Connection, and I just didn't have the money to do yoga at the time. And I had it on my vision board to have a yoga membership at a yoga studio.
When was this?
Oh, gosh, I was probably 22, something like that. And a guy that I had my first yoga boyfriend. He paid for my yoga classes because I didn't have the money to take yoga. I actually remember one day I started paying for it, but then I didn't have enough money. And then I went to class and I didn't have any classes left. And I didn't realize it. And the owner was there and she said, "Sorry, you don't have classes." And I left there and I just started crying. I was so bummed out. I wanted to go to yoga. I didn't have the money. So But then I made it part of my lifestyle. Like it was like non-negotiable for me to go to yoga class. So I started going. And my first teacher, her name was Rebecca. She was actually a good friend of mine. She's the one that pushed me into a teacher training. She said, Z, come do the teacher training. And I was like, okay. So I went for one day to visit the teacher training. It was Jimmy Barkin. And that's where I met my yoga boyfriend. And he really helped me. He supported me. And he paid for the teacher training, and then I was able to pay it back to Jimmy in payments. But it really made a difference for me. And then after that, I just rolled with it. I did 2 other teacher trainings later, and it's been my life. So I dove into it, and I've been swimming deep since.
So cool. You didn't expect it, right, to take that much?
No, I was the one that was like, I didn't see myself chanting. You know, I was in the hot yoga room. I came from the gym, and I was more about like, how do I reduce stress? I didn't realize the depth that yoga was. Yeah, I would never imagine myself sitting in front of a harmonium chanting Hare Krishna like I do now.
I feel you. That's the way I felt. I remember the first time in TT, and we did that, and I'm like, you want me to sing what? Like, now I'm like, Hare Krishna.
Do I have to go to the airport now and shake a tambourine? No. That's something different. That's a whole other level. Well, I'm just learning about all this. I'm still, have so much to learn. But you give us a little taste of it. That's another cool thing, how you... Because, I mean, you look at all these people that just don't do a lot of yoga. They don't have that background, as I guess you maybe didn't either. Maybe more than some people already.
One thing that I did have is my dad told me when I was young, and I knew this at the young age. He said religion is for people who are seeking something, and he always encouraged me to question for myself my spirituality. And I was raised Muslim. Both my parents are Middle Eastern from Lebanon. But my dad just would tell me that, and there was... I knew about all the different religions. I also knew there was something bigger, and I would assert that's why my path led me to yoga. I'm one of the people that came in through the gateway drug, which I call hot yoga, and then went down the rabbit hole.
What do we do in vinyasa? Is it warm? It's not exactly hot, but I think if I sweat anymore, I wouldn't have any water left in my body.
It's because it's literally right after the hot yoga class, so we leave it a little warm for you guys to loosen you up.
Well, my first real yoga experience was at that Bikram yoga.
Which one?
In Aventura in the waterways. What used to be the Kabbalah Center actually years ago in Aventura, and I just about died. The teacher didn't care. She wasn't slowing down for anyone.
No.
I was gasping for. So I said, yoga's not for me. I mean, it's hard enough to get me to the gym, and this yoga thing wasn't for me. But then I came to I Love Yoga, and the rest just changed.
Awesome.
Anyway, so thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Okay, so do you agree that yoga can be enjoyed on many different levels? Well, we kind of touched on that. There's all different kinds of people, and a lot of them... they might just be going, like you said, for the stress relief. But you talk about all the invisible benefits you get.
Yeah.
There's so many.
There is so many. And there is something for everybody. That's what's so cool about yoga now. It's like everybody's doing their thing. Everybody's bringing their blend to it. There's chair yoga. There's restorative yoga. There's rock and roll yoga. And really the essence of yoga is that we connect with the divine, and the divine is in the present moment. So whatever it is that you're doing, if it brings you into your breath and you're able to bring your awareness to in this moment, that this is it. This is it. Those are my 3 favorite words, Jonathan. This is it. Yeah, it reminds us, this is it. This is it. This is it. This is it. This is it now. And that's what yoga brings us to, right? And when we are in that now, we connect to the divine. We connect to the sacredness of who we are. And that sacredness is always there, but we're so distracted in the Maya. The Maya is the illusion, right?
So cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now at this point, we're going to learn much. I have a lot more questions, but we're going to hear from some sponsors right now, very important sponsors we thank at soulflowradio.com.
Get hydrated, stretch, and take a deep breath. Z Nation will be right back.
Join us this summer at I Love Yoga.
Tweens ages 7 to 12, August 3rd through the 5th. Teens ages 13 through 17, August 10th through the 12th. Drop your teenagers off at I Love Yoga Studio at 9 a.m. Pick them up at 3 p.m. We'll have discussion, yoga class, healthy lunches, and yoga school and workshops. Register your teen at iloveyogastudio.com. Namaste.
Hi, this is Zayna De Gaia, and I'd love to share with you about my good friend Nicole of Legit Fitness in-home training and yoga. She's a certified yoga teacher, and she's an amazing and experienced trainer that can design a program to fit your specific needs and goals. She's so cool. She's super committed to making fitness and health fun and accessible for everyone. Plus, your first week is free as a new client. Here's how you set up your first session. Either call 305-335-5590 or visit www.getlegitfit.com. GETLEGITFIT. Getlegitfit.com. 305-335-5590. Do it now!
Add a twist of yoga.
Yoga Twist with Julie.
A great way to integrate yoga, meditation, and lots of fun.
Promote family bonding. Help with flexibility and exercise. I teach grown-ups too.
Join Julie for beginner and gentle adult classes.
Book a group, family, or one-on-one session now. Email me, yogatwistjulie@gmail.com.
Follow Yoga Twist Julie on Instagram and like Yoga Twist on Facebook for great family lifestyle tips and Yoga Twist events.
Now back to ZNation, your weekly dose of inspiration on SoFloRadio.com.
We're just going to hang.
Hello.
And we are back.
And we are joined now by a good friend.
Philip Simonetta just came into the studio. Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome.
All right.
I'm interviewing the great Zayna De Gaia. And before we go on, I have a few gifts I bought.
Gifts. I love gifts. That's my love language.
All right, so you're all going to have to decide who gets what.
Are these Jewish candles?
No, this is from like a kind of a yoga type of cool
I
spiritual
know this
store.
woman. She just reached out to me.
Oh, see?
Yeah, I know her. This
It's
is
in
amazing.
Oakland Park.
Oh, wow.
And I noticed it next to one of my accounts I was visiting on, trying to sell pharmaceuticals. And you got some Om stickers here. Now tell me, before I give this away, who is Ganesh? What deity is that? And
I told you not to ask me questions about yoga. I don't know anything about yoga.
okay, well, let's talk about politics.
So Ganesh is the popular Hindu deity, is known as the god of knowledge and the remover of obstacles. Ganesha is the son and lord of Shiva, and goddess Parvati. It's almost like an MC Yogi song. You're a Ganesha expert. Jose is also in the
I
studio.
could have just read that and found this out. That's
So I told you. So do you want to talk about Hinduism? Are we getting into religion? Or are we
No,
going to
no
stay
more
off
religion. No. Let's get back to Iran. No, okay. So, should we hear from Philip for a little while?
It's your show.
I'm just going to keep interviewing and then just jump in. Jose, you've been very quiet.
Philip
too.
is here to observe and chill. He's just. I'm so happy you're here. Your
made
pink
it.
shirt and everything.
Welcome.
Hey, it takes something to wear pink.
It does.
I know, see? You want to wear my pink glasses too? So we're talking about yoga because that's how I was introduced to Z through the yoga studio. And I was saying that I always find things I want to ask and talk about, but I don't want to interrupt the other students. So today's my day. I get to ask some questions. So how can we share more yoga with more people? And some things that I've seen you involved with a couple other ladies, the corporate yoga, seniors, teens, teen whispering, the prisons and institutions, rehab patients, people with chronic injuries. Who else and how and what's going on? How are we bringing yoga to the world? What's going on?
I like this question. And it's also, a question for us all to ask. It's not so much like how are we bringing yoga to the world, but how are we awakening the world? And some people use yoga as a way to get in. Some people use music. Some people use art. All these are tools to awaken humanity and raise consciousness. So, for yoga right now, what's cool about it is it's super trendy. right? And corporations are looking how to bring it into their employees so that it shows that they value them and they want to bring them well-being. And sure, there's many places we can bring it. We can bring it anywhere. I love sharing yoga anywhere people are open to hear about it. And people are more and more open to hear about it. But essentially, bringing people to their breath is the most important thing. Not everybody's going to go into a yoga studio. Not everybody's going to take an 1.5-hour yoga class. They just won't. But, if you're somebody, and you don't have to be a yoga teacher, you can be at, Publix and the cashier is stressing out because everybody's pissing on her. And you can just when you get to her, you can just say, honey, can we take a breath? Yeah. Can you take a breath with me? And just open that vortex for people to experience the presence, to experience being in the moment. And that's the gift that yoga gives. So if we could bring more of that, and it could just be, Jonathan, you're on the phone all day, right?
Well, I should be. My boss would like me.
Essentially, technically, you're on the phone all day. And what would it look like if every conversation you had began with, hi, can we take just 3 breaths together?
I actually said that to a client.
What did they say?
The phone went silent. I'm like, oh gosh, Z does this better than me. Perfect stranger. But she was all over the place, like I sometimes am. The monkey mind.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I need to do this, and I have patients coming in. I might order this many, and it's just on and on with the wheels turning. I'm like, Arlena, I shouldn't say any names, but she's in a different place. Can we just take a breath together? Can you just breathe with me? And then I think we both stopped breathing because we didn't know what was going to happen next. But but it's cool. I love that. I mean, the idea of breathing is so fundamental to everything.
Yes, the idea of breathing, and then yoga brings the idea of oneness. So, we're bringing the beingness of yoga to the world, being kind to everybody, having compassion for every being, and having compassion and love towards ourselves. So that's the yoga, downward dog, upward dog. That's the purification of the physical body as we know it. Pranayama is the control of the breath. All of it, the pathway leads to self-realization, which is we can only access that through this awareness.
And you talk about resistance, and the antidote to resistance is breathing, right? Because you apply these things when you're in Warrior 2, especially Kelsey, she'll make you just stay there forever.
I love
Kelsey's
Warrior
traveling
2.
throughout the country now.
Warrior 1 and Warrior 2, my favorite.
Yeah, it's tough, right? But I mean, it burns, and your mind's telling you, right? Your mind's telling you, I've had enough of this, it hurts. But when you learn how to breathe through things, and not just with pain, physical, but somebody upsets you, somebody's stressed out, you don't have to go there with them. You just breathe through it, and then you feel a new power, a certain space you've created, that those stretches where you find room where you didn't think you had it.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing stuff. It's so simple and it's so profound. I love that.
It is.
That breathing through things has helped me tremendously.
I'm glad you talked about that because it's the part that people step over when they think of yoga. They think, we're just stretching. But there is a lifestyle behind it, like you said, when you're holding the poses, and you can be mind over matter in that posture. You can be mind over matter in the posture of a conversation, a flat tire, whatever it is. I always say the hardest yoga pose is the pose of relationship. Try that one. Breathe through that one.
Breathe through it.
My mirrors.
And we also say blow it off a lot. Blow it off, Let it go, blow it off. Anyway, that's cool. So let's talk about some funny words that I'm still learning what they mean. Maybe Philip can help me too.
Give it a shot.
Okay, so chaturanga. Chaturanga. There should be a rap song written about chaturanga. Up dog, down dog. Dun, dun, dun. Chaturanga. It's got a certain rhythm. It's cool.
It does, right? My teacher, Jimmy Barkin, he's very American, so he would say chaturanga.
Chaturanga.
Exactly, chaturanga. I think that's funny.
It's almost like Spanish, the way you have to pronounce the things. It's chaturanga.
Yes, chaturanga.
In Miami, you're doing chaturanga. Forget about it. Manolo. Chaturanga.
This guy needs his own show. For real. Stats.
Sign me up. Okay, here's one that's tricky. It's even got tricky in the name. Trikonasana. Trikonasana.
Trikonasana.
Tell us about Trikonasana.
Trikonasana is triangle, so it's triangle pose. It's not.
Is that like a coincidence that it's in the? Is that Sanskrit?
Yeah, it's Sanskrit. Tree means three. Tri means three.
And because your shoulders stacked and you're like in a perfect line, and that's
There's actually
a triangle.
There's actually several triangles in the triangles. I'll show you next time you're in
Okay.
it. I'll use you as a demo.
I would like to be a
Okay.
demo. Is it like sacred geometry type of thing?
It's all sacred
It
geometry.
all ties together.
All of yoga is sacred geometry. If you observe it, it's all the sacred geometry symbols.
Cool. I like the Trikonasana.
Yeah, it feels good.
Yeah, I'm like, I know it sounds weird to say this to people, but unless you've gone to twice a week to Z's class, it's enjoyable to bend down and pick up a quarter, reach up for things now, and I feel, even though I don't look like it, I've lost like 26 pounds since I've been doing this.
Wow.
Wow.
And that guy David that comes to the class, he's lost like 45 pounds.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So, I might not have the gym body, but I feel strong in a lot of ways. You feel it in your every muscle that you don't use.
Well, you do have the gym body, but then you also have the body that can pick up that quarter on the floor and be like, no problem.
Yeah, just you feel healthier, and
Yeah.
nobody wants to be fat and, stiff. So that's good. Okay. Okay, cat and cow. Where'd they get that name from? There's no Sanskrit name. Do I look like a cat?
A lot of the yoga names, the poses, do come from animals. It is said that the seers, the yogis of the time, sat in the forest, and like all these poses were like downloaded through Gaia Ma, through nature.
Mother Earth is Gaia.
Mother Earth, yes. So that's why a lot of the poses are animals. A lot of the poses are animals, and then a lot of the poses are names of like mystical deities and yeah.
So where do you get the cow then? Okay, I can see the cat. The cat does the arch back, and then when you
I don't know.
where's
I
that?
don't know.
How is that
There's
a cow?
another one called like Happy Cow Face, and I don't know how that's called a Happy Cow Face.
I said that to a girl. She
I
got
know.
very mad at me. You happy cow face.
Or something.
Didn't go over well.
I don't know.
Hey, I like it here now. Can we make the show 2 hours today?
Yes, we should have it 2 hours.
Put my song on again. Cat and cow, that's a cool one. Wait, why doesn't halfway up for a straight spine have a name?
It does.
What's it called?
yeah.
It's Ardha Uttanasana.
Well, I wish you'd say that once in a while
No,
so I
but
get it.
I
in my-
do. I say Ardha, and you're like, what did she say? And it's because I say Ardha, which is half. So I say Ardha inhale, which is half lift inhale. It's like the nickname for Ardha Uttanasana. Now you know.
So cool. Okay, Ardha. All right, I'm going to remember that for next time. Okay. Now, do you have more respect for students who don't lower all the way down to the floor? They do the... Or do you say, wimp?
I'll tell you what my friend Gaia tells me, which I want to give props to Gaia. We love you,
We
Gaia.
love you, Gaia.
Miss you so
Miss
much.
you. Wish you were
Gaia's
here.
at camp. Gaia tells me this: no judgments. That's it.
Just
But
like
really
that.
inside you are.
No
like,
judgment.
She'll be like, no judgment.
Okay, who's your favorite yoga student?
It's like asking a mother who her favorite children are. It's not fair.
We do that too, my sister and I. Okay. Here, I've got a couple more on yoga, and then we'll move on to some of your projects.
Okay,
Am I
good.
supposed to? Oh, okay.
It's just don't read my text.
Oh.
I'm giving you a time check.
Oh my goodness.
Everybody's like,
So what do I do with this? We don't have how much time do we have?
I don't know what we're laughing about.
It's almost over.
Maybe you want to do
I have like 20 more questions.
I know.
That's only in section A.
Next time.
We're gonna have to schedule another one. Why don't we?
I'm gonna write a blog about you
Didn't
instead.
you want to do laughing for no reason?
Okay.
Okay, let's do it. Something. I'm laughing at Sunset's laugh.
I'm like, how ridiculous can I get?
All right.
Do I get one more question at least?
You can get, I think,
How many more can I
time
have?
for maybe 3.
Okay, 3 more questions. On to the yoga thing, real quick. Are men like me expected to do those crazy contortion poses that you do, like the backpack, your legs over your shoulder? Do you really expect at the end of class that we're going to twist ourselves up like you can do?
Okay, you want to know a secret? I'm going to give you laser answers, okay?
Okay.
You'll get the same benefits if you sit and you visualize it. However, you have to believe. Next.
Okay, well, the binding. Will I ever bind? I don't think so. Well,
If you go to Mysore, which is just that name, you can run with a joke.
what is it called?
There's a practice. There's an Ashtanga practice, which is it's a traditional way to learn Ashtanga yoga, and those hard binds.
Yeah.
I was able to do them with the assistance of a teacher assisting me. So they will pull your arm and stretch it, and then you could bind. It takes a few times, but there are some poses that by myself I wasn't able to do. And at one time, there's one where you got to slide your arms through your knees, and it felt like I was giving birth. And I had two teachers assisting me, and they went and got coconut oil so they assisted me with oil and two hands pulling my arms out. I'll have to show it to you guys. The
Oh my God.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was. But I would have never gotten into that pose by myself. So there are some assists that make a difference.
I have so many more questions about these poses, but we don't have time. So if we have a few more minutes, could you just talk about some of your projects you're involved with now and what's going on?
Yeah, okay. My main projects right now, let's see. Well, ZNation, this whole world, this platform that we've created, we're expanding in a lot of ways. So one thing that I realize is I'm really committed to giving a platform for people to shine and to share their message. And also, like, when somebody comes on the show, they feel amazing and they feel empowered and they really get who they are in the world. So I only have 52 weeks and there's only so many shows I can make. So what we're creating is an online platform now where people can submit articles instead of getting interviews, and we can highlight people through articles online.
that's cool.
Kind of like a Huffington Post, but it's going to be a Z Post. So that whole world of ZNation is our little baby. The Teen Whisperers project is part of my coaching. I do life coaching, and I'm also niching into families with teenagers. I'm taking a few clients right now so I can develop this. And what I've realized is there's many people like me who have the gift of communicating with teens, but they may not have the tools to do the coaching. So I'm training people to be coaches for families. And this is interesting because somebody asked me, what are your credentials? And I thought about it. I said, the main thing that I do as a coach in families is I love. I love their children unconditionally in the way that maybe they haven't been able to. And I love them. And I don't know of any credentials that anybody can give me to love. So,
But you have the credentials too.
it's I just know I came here to love, and I know I have the ability to love people even when they're not lovable. Do you know what I mean? And that's something that I have and I can use, and I do use, and that's what I use in my coaching. So those are my main things right now. I do want to take the Teen Whisperers around the world, and I have a date that I'm inking in very soon in the Middle East, in Beirut. So I'm actually, Jonathan, like I've told you many times recently, I'm focused on being not so busy and slowing the heck down so that I can accomplish more.
Slowing down to speed up.
Yeah.
To do more.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
And for everything you do and represent. And I guess we have to wrap it up, right?
I think we're going to have to make this into a 6-part series is what I'm
love it.
feeling. Yeah. Well, let's do it. And then we'll be able to go through everything. But thank you so much. Thank you
Namaste.
for your amazing sense of humor. And also your love, Jonathan, for the world.
Thank you.
So I'd love for you to lead us into a little outro to bring everybody in and take us out.
Okay, just like a meditation.
1 minute.
Okay. Well, let's settle in first of all. Let's just enjoy the fellowship and the connection we have with other human souls, all the souls, and Mother Earth and the animals, and really appreciate every breath and every opportunity to share love and goodwill.
I know you like Portuguese chant, Jonathan, so we'll close with Om Luka Samasta Sukino Bhavantu.
Should we chant it?
Sure. May all beings everywhere be happy, be free. May all of my actions, my words, my thoughts contribute to that happiness and freedom for all. Thanks for tuning in, beautiful beings. Enjoy this life. Be blessed. Be you. We love you. Namaste. Peace
Namaste.
out. It's the new move.
Of Hollywood, Florida, USA. This is
That's all, like-
SoFloRadio.com.